Trey Cloutier, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. We
Yeah.
appreciate that. Says, what's the chance we trade Rachaad White in the offseason?
I think pretty slim. The interesting thing is he's in a contract year, right? And so
Yeah.
you have Sean Tucker. If Sean Tucker or Bucky Irving, one of those guys was really good in pass protection, then you certainly have a little bit more flexibility to do that. The problem is running backs. I don't want to say they're a dime a dozen because I love the position dearly. I grew up, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s watching, Eric Dickerson rush for 2,000 yards, and just John Riggins was my hero. I moved to Kansas City from being a Redskins fan in Northern Virginia, and then you got Christian Okoye and Barry Ward there. So I love the running back position. I love that the league has become a lot more balanced. It used to be too pass heavy for my liking. But I will say running backs are a little bit dime a dozen. I don't know that you want to trade for them. You can typically find some in the draft. It's a position that always seems to slide and fall in the draft. You can find some good ones in undrafted free agencies where you found Sean Tucker. Isaiah Pacheco was a seventh-round pick, Matt, out of Rutgers.
Yeah.
Damn good back, right? They drafted a first-round back and Clyde Edwards-Helaire did Kansas City. And then one in the seventh round in Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco's the better back, right? I mean, they already parted ways with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I don't know that he has a lot of trade value, and we've already seen Bucky Irving, get dinged up and Rachaad step in. And it's not like Sean Tucker can't, but, it's better to have three backs than two. And you're going to have Bucky Irving for 3 more years under his rookie deal and Sean Tucker on 2 more years of his rookie deal. And then you've got Rachaad White entering his final season. So he should be highly motivated to play out. I don't know that they're going to extend him, but I don't know that there's a lot of trade value for Rachaad.
Right. I look at this in a couple of different ways. And the biggest thing to me isn't even that it's his contract year. It's that it's his contract year on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
Like you'll see guys get traded on the last year of their deal or the last year of guaranteed money,
right.
Kind of like with Carlton Davis last year, where he had one more year left on his deal when they traded him to Detroit because the Bucs didn't want to pay him that much money, and they were going to cut him unless they were able to get a draft pick out of it. With Rachaad White, there's no value into trading him right now with the last year of his deal. That's what he's going into because it's not like it's a salary cap dump because it's a rookie deal.
Yeah.
And 2, because of it's the last year of his deal, what does that do for the trading partner that the Bucs are trying to make a deal with? There's not that. Why would you give up something for a guy that you're only going to have for 1 year unless you go in saying we're going to sign him to an extension?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, unless your name is Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley, that's just not going to happen. The other side of it as well, from a Bucs player personnel standpoint, it's not that Rachaad White is the best pass blocking running back for the Bucs and probably the best receiving one as well.
Yeah.
It's that he is head and shoulders above Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker when it comes to pass blocking.
Yeah.
Like, I think we saw Bucky get exposed a little bit, again, strictly just as a pass blocker. We know how great he is as a running back, and you'll take Bucky Irving all day over Rachaad White. But Bucky got a little more playing time in that playoff game, especially on passing down situations, and he got exposed pretty badly. That's something he's got to work on this offseason and going into next year. You need Rachaad White for that value because Sean Tucker doesn't do it as much as well. Now, if the Bucs want to go and draft another running back this year in a late round, kind of like how you just talked about, Isaiah Pacheco, late round pick, maybe even another undrafted guy, and he could find a way to pass block or whatever it may be, well, then maybe you found your replacement for Rachaad White with Bucky being the top guy. But that doesn't mean that you're going to trade him this year. But I appreciate the question nonetheless.
For sure. Absolutely.
Good good topic of conversation this offseason.
No doubt. No doubt.
Now, the Bucs didn't really have a defense, but the running game certainly made up for it in droves in several different ways. And I hope, too, it's not just all about Bucky Irving. A lot of it is the offensive line. Let's remember, Graham Barton's going into year 2. The Bucs got pretty good locks with Tristan Wirfs and Luke Gedeke out on the ends on each side. Cody Mauch took a big step forward, and we'll see what happens with the left guard. But I also don't want to forget about Rachaad White either. Yes, it's going to be a lot of Bucky Irving. Let's also remember, Bucky Irving is on the shorter side. He's got that chronic toe injury that he's had, as Todd Bowles said, he's had all his life.
Yeah.
He did get banged up a little bit here and there, and he played for the most part. But running back, you're going to get hit a lot. And I'm not saying Bucky can't play all 17 games and that he won't get injured, but we saw how injuries derailed this team in several other ways. So let's not push Rachaad White to the wayside. Let's remember, as bad as the running game was 2 seasons ago, Rachaad White was awfully close to 1,000 yards.
That's
and
right.
Sean Tucker certainly was a big deal as well.
It says White is now trade capital. Let Tucker spin. I was talking to Skip Pete, and he loves having 3 running backs. I don't think this team is going to trade Rachaad White. He's in a contract year, and I understand the wanting to get something for Rachaad White and give Sean Tucker more carries. You got to remember one thing about Rachaad White. He's the best pass protector on this team by far, and that has tremendous value. Skip Pete said that. Liam Cohn has said that. If you ask Baker Mayfield, he'll tell you that. The size is going to prevent Bucky Irving from ever being a top-notch pass protector. He's going to get blown up. It's just you're going to lose that size battle. And the interesting thing is like I actually talked to Skip Pete, and I asked him, I'm like, Warwick Dunn used to cut guys, and that's what made him so effective. Low man wins, and he would go down there and cut guys. And I didn't think about this. Then this is why Skip Pete's the running backs coach and not me. He said, I never tell my running backs to cut guys. You know why? Because the minute you cut a guy, what's going to happen? That guy is going to get chopped down, and he's going to fly over the running back. And who's he going to fly into? The quarterback, especially with that plant foot as he's going to throw, right? And he's like, I've seen it. I've seen it enough to where I don't coach it because I don't want to lose our quarterback. But sometimes when you go to cut a guy in pass protection as a running back, that guy kind of vaults over the back, and that helmet or shoulder goes right into the plant knee of the quarterback, and then that's a torn ACL, and you're done. So he's like, I will never put our quarterback in harm's way. I'd rather just have one of my backs kind of get blown up or getting beat, and our quarterback gets sacked in a more conventional fashion rather than have a guy get chopped down and then go for the knee, even inadvertently.
And then sometimes running backs will jump the gun a little bit, and the defender might still be engaged with the offensive lineman, and then that's a cut blocking penalty, and that's 15 yards. I think that actually happened to Bucky Irving in the playoff game against the Commanders. So, that can hurt as well. Rachaad White, we talked about it before, but I think it's important to reiterate. He's going into the last year of his deal. He's going to be very motivated. But what's the appeal to another team? Because you need a trading partner if you're going to trade Rachaad White. What's the appeal to another team of bringing in a good, solid running back for potentially only 1 season, unless you plan on signing him to contract extension right then and there? Unless there's a team that has like a solid edge rusher, and it's like, hey, let's swap our player who's on the last year of his deal for your player on the last year of his deal. I don't totally get it. And then everything that he does in the passing game is still very, very important for this team. As Tom says, Tucker needs to pass block better, and he will. He was getting destroyed trying to block. That's the other side.
He's got to get better too. That's right.
Right. Bucky Irving, we just mentioned his struggles. Sean Tucker it's never been his forte, is really pass blocking. So Rachaad White is needed for the team this season. What I will say, though, even though he shouldn't get traded, I'm curious. Again, the Bucs wouldn't do this on probably not until day 3.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee Rachaad White's back after this season.
Right.
Would they get ahead of the game and bring in, or maybe even draft the running back on day 3, maybe with their last pick, and start that cycle for next year, get them ready in the offense? They could just draft one the following season and get the same result like they just did with Bucky Irving. But that entered my mind a little bit too. Only the Bucs
it's the right guy.
If it's the right guy, free agency will dictate a lot of this, because if they address a lot of their needs in free agency, they'll still need to in the draft, but a lot of that can be solved on day 1 and specifically day 2. And then that opens up a lot more freedom in day 3 on what they want to do, who they like specifically. So I wouldn't rule out a running back